Here are my picks for Glizzy Thursday on PrizePicks. I don't know what they call it, but welcome to the video. My name is Trevor, and we're going to be building out some slips here. I've actually already built them, but we will look at the Odds Jam Fantasy Optimizer and take a look at how I built out these slips and why I selected the specific ones. So if you're not familiar, PrizePicks will have, various different promotions throughout the week. On Tuesdays, they have their Taco Tuesdays. And it looks like on Thursdays, they do this hot dog / glizzy Thursdays here, where they pick three MLB players and they will discount their lines, and they'll put them all up at the beginning of the day. And so you can put $25 for each play. So, and you cannot combine them. So as you can see, obviously these plays, they're all pitchers, and what they've done is they have discounted their strikeouts lines, right? So you've got Aaron Nola, usually would be 6 strikeouts. This is normal line. They discount it down to 4.5. Ohtani goes from a 7 to a 5.5, and Cease goes from a 5.5 to a 4. Now, quickly before we get into it, one thing I like to look for when building slips, and this is just a tip in general, as much as we can, try to put in legs into your parlay, into your slip that have half points, right? Because we want to minimize the amount of push potential, right? We don't want Cease to land on this 4 because that limits our upside. So we want to have as much as many 0.5, so 5.5, 4.5, instead of ones that end in 0, so we can limit the amount of pushing on it, okay? So let's get into the first pick. So when we're looking at the Odds Jam Fantasy Optimizer, an incredible tool, again, link down below to get a 90-day money-back guarantee so you can try it out. And if you don't like it, if you don't make money, if it doesn't work for you, you can get your money back completely. So check that link down below. This optimizer is a great tool for building out these parlay slips on all of these platforms up here, right? And so today, obviously, we're going to be doing PrizePicks because of these hot dog discounts. And so as you can see, this Aaron Nola play with the discount, his line is at 4.5, usually at a 5.5 or a 6. And on these other books at 5.5 for the over, he's still favored significantly to go over 5.5, and we're getting him at 4.5. So FanDuel is pricing this at minus 290 for this play. So obviously a great play to put in your slip. And so when we look at this board here, we are showing line differences, right? And so with this optimizer, obviously sometimes PrizePicks will have a different line compared to what these other books will be pricing it at, right? Like we've got Kikuchi here, and PrizePicks will have it at 5, but these other books have the line set at 5.5. Now, most people would think, okay, well, if other books are pricing it at 5.5 and this is a 5, we should take the over. That's not the case when the line on the other books are significantly favored to go over or under. So, as an example, this Kikuchi play, the under is significantly favored, right? Minus 6, minus 162, minus 170. We're going to say around minus 165 or so average across these books for 5.5, right? So a significant favor to go under. Now, we have them at 5, so it's not as good. It's definitely a lot worse. However, there is still value on the 5 because of how favored going under 5.5 is. And the Odds Jam Fantasy Optimizer, the formula that goes into it, they anticipate the odds that the 5 would be at, right? And then they will devig it, and that's how we get this number. So as an example, if the 5.5 is minus 170, and we get 5, we can anticipate it's going to be around minus 145, minus 140, around there, right? Obviously, the formula, the optimizer will do it way more accurately. So we got minus 145 on the 5. We take the VIG out of it, and that's how we get this fair odds, this algo odds that Odds Jam will do here. So that's how these line differences work, and that's why they are still profitable, even though it can be a little confusing for some people. So let's keep that in mind, and we'll look at a couple slips that we've built out today. Now, before we get into the slips, I know I've been delaying it. Another thing to keep in mind is if you look at the board and you want, in general, I mean, I love taking plays that do not have push potential, right? So taking these whole numbers is okay, technically profitable, but it really, really limits your upside, right? Because these parlay slips, these PrizePicks slips, what we're trying to do is we're trying to maximize upside, right? We're trying to get that big payout. And so when you push on one leg, it completely negates that upside. So as much, like I said before, as much as you can, try to limit that, right? So what I've done is I've built out a slip here, and I'll pop it on the screen. So this is the first slip that I built out with Dylan Cease. Again, you can mix and match with the different hot dogs. But what I've done here in this slip is I basically built it out top down. So we did Cease, Kikuchi, Boyd, and Blackburn, right? All of these plays are great plus EV, as you can see, and great odds to hit. And we're getting them at around minus 128, 127, fair odds. And compared to the implied odds on PrizePicks, it's incredible value. But instead of filling it out with Evaldi and Gore and all these other plays down here, what I've done is I've dropped down and I've taken this Jones play from the WNBA strictly because it's 8.5. There is no push potential. And then I went down and I got this Tyler Wells play as well because it's 0.5, right? It's 17.5. There's no push potential. So it's a bit of a happy medium here. I've got some pushes up top that could happen, but they are really good and really plus EV. And then I finish it off with some that minimize the push potential. So that's the first slip here. Now let's look at the rest of the slips. How did I use my $25 on each hot dog, and how did I build it out? As you can see, I've built 2-man plays. And the reason why I've done that is because this board here, the value that we're being offered on PrizePicks right now, in my opinion, I would prefer to build out smaller slips because of how much value we get with the hot dogs, and limit limit the upside because of, we're not building out the 5 and the 6 mans, but limit the risk, because if I were to build a bunch of 5 or 6 man slips with all of these push potential plays here, in my opinion, it's you're limiting that upside, so there's no point in building out that slip. I would rather just make a 2-man and try to just get that value in a slip with less risk. So what I've done is, I've built out plays here where I'm just taking plus EV plays, and I've got I've got the highest plus EV play, so Kikuchi and Boyd and Blackburn up here, and I've just paired them with the tacos, or sorry, not the tacos, the hot dogs. So Kikuchi, as you can see right here, I mean, he is significantly favored to go under, and so we get the 5, like I explained. This Matthew Boyd play on hits allowed to go over 4.5 is significantly favored, so we get him at 5. Not as good, obviously, but still, we can get him about minus 140, 145. You devig it, you get this. Much better than the implied odds on PrizePicks, so we'll still take him there. Again, as I've preached before, when you're building out your lineups, obviously in general, it's more profitable to be building 5 and 6 man slips on PrizePicks, but you don't want to force it. You want to be selective, and with these hot dogs, you need to be putting these in lineups today. And with the lack of sports going on right now, with MLB and WNBA basically being our only options, all of the lines are out. There might be a few that have changed and moved later on today, but I want to lock these in early, and I want to get my value when I can. And so that's why I'm building out these 2-man slips. And just to nail it home one last time before we finish the video, if we're getting Aaron Nola in a slip and he's minus 290 on FanDuel, it really doesn't, yes, it's better to put him in a 5 or a 6 man if we've got tons of value that we can combine him with. But if we've got minimal value, not that there's none, but we've got minimal ideal value, I would recommend taking this really, really solid plus EV play, pairing it with another plus EV play Yes, the implied odds will not be this good, so they will be probably, you know, minus 130, but we're still plus EV technically. We lower our risk, and that's my decision today. So let me know what you guys think about this. I would recommend doing that if you don't see things on the board that you love. But yeah, these are my plays. We got Kikuchi and Nola right here, Boyd and Cease, and Blackburn and Otani, and then we've got that 6 man that I showed you before. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Lock in your hot dogs and let's cash these slips. We'll see you next time.